Okay, I'm sitting crisscrossed and I'm ready for this video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Crystalline. Every single week I post videos here on this channel and every single day, honestly, on YouTube Shorts as well as my other platforms. And we talk about how you can live a life that is better for your mind, body, and our planet. Touch on mental health, physical health, honestly, everything that falls under mind, body, planet, we probably touch on it. So it is no dang secret that we are in November, which means the holidays are essentially here. They are here. And if you have noticed, if you walk into any store, probably for the last 2 months, you've been seeing Christmas stuff everywhere. I am pretty sure I walked into my Michael's in September and I saw Christmas stuff everywhere. And I remember thinking like, what, when did it become okay to be putting Christmas stuff out in September? Like we haven't even hit Halloween yet. Where is the Halloween decor? Which must have been out in like July or August at that point, but I don't know. It seems to be going faster and faster every year. And I know for so many people, holidays are not fun. Like they're fun, but they're not fun. And I think a lot of that has to go with family dynamics and just kind of the pressures that fall on us whenever it becomes a holiday season. And while I am no mental health expert, I have felt this. I have definitely felt these feelings. And that is why I want to share with you guys my personal tips for having a more intentional holiday, for creating a holiday season that works for me, my life, and what I want out of it. There's a few things that kind of fall into here. And I know, again, I'm not a mental health professional, but these are things that I personally do. And they have totally helped me be able to really lean into what I find important in the holidays and allow me to have a better experience when it comes to Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, anything that falls under the months of November and December. So let's hop into it. Hopping into the holidays while also keeping your mental health in check. The first thing that, and I know you might groan at me, I know, I understand, but you need to check your boundaries and set some boundaries if you don't already have some in place. And this is what I mean by that. Boundaries, when I think of a boundary, I think of setting your expectations. What are you willing to do and what are you not willing to do? So when you think about the holiday season, what is most important for you? What are your expectations that you want out of the holidays? Is it that you want to spend the most time as possible with your family and friends and really get that quality time? Is it that you want a period of rest and relaxation? Is it that you want to decorate your house and spend as much time as at home as possible to really look at yourself inwards and reflect on what your year looked like? Everyone is going to have their own expectations when it comes to the holiday season, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having different expectations than the other people around you. If your family expects one thing, but that's not what makes you happy during this time of year, this is where your boundaries kind of come into play here. Even if you're not a journaler, because trust me, I am not a journaler, I would really encourage you to sit down and write down what is it that you expect from this holiday season? What do you want out of it? And once you have those answers, then you can kind of fall into the boundary setting side of things and say, if your most important thing is that you want to spend time and be relaxing, maybe your boundary is that you don't want to travel during the month of December, and that's okay. But making those boundaries very clear with the people around you who may kind of push you and make you feel bad for trying to set boundaries. But at the end of the day, it is your life, your holiday season. So get out a pen and paper right now, pause this video if you have to, and write down your expectations for this holiday season. What do you want out of it? What are you willing to do? What are you not willing to do? Are you willing to go to the local Christmas market? Or are you not willing to do that? Are you willing to travel 5 hours on a road trip to go see your grandmother for the holidays? Or are you not willing to do that this year? And every year can be different. Just because your expectations and your desires and what you want out of this holiday season may be a little different than maybe what you wanted last year. And maybe next year you'll want something completely different too. It totally depends on you, and it is okay to fluctuate on that. Number 2 is beware of advertising, and it's rampant this time of year. It truly does feel like everyone is trying to sell you something, whether it's on social media, if it's an influencer, if you turn on the TV and there's commercials. Even I know if I'm watching like Apple TV, I see ads for brands that are like really directly placed in there. Like someone's like drinking a water bottle and it's like the logo of whatever they're trying to like subliminally, non-discreetly try to get you to be like, oh yeah, I want that too.
Drinks are on me. Here's my time card.
And let me be your reminder that just because someone says you need something new, just because someone says this is the trending item, this is like the hottest item this Christmas season, does not mean that you need it. Does not mean that you need anything new if you don't actually need it and find it to be helpful in your daily life. Too many times we really get caught up in following influencers that tell us that, oh, you need this like cheap, the sale item sweater. And then you buy the sweater and you wear it once and then you donate it like 6 months later. Trust me, I know the feeling. I've been there. And this is me telling you, you do not need to buy a bunch of new stuff. You just don't. It's not necessary. And even when it comes to gift giving, advertisements make you feel like this is the perfect gift for mom. This is the perfect gift for dad, brother, sister, fiance, husband, child, whatever. This is the perfect gift for them. Or here's a gift guide for people who like this kind of stuff. And again, they make you feel like you need to be purchasing certain items for these people in your life. And I'm also here to remind you, you probably don't need to do that. I know a lot of us are probably in this era of our life where money may be a little bit tight right now. And there are a lot, like so many homemade holiday gifts that are honestly, in my opinion, more thoughtful than going to Target and purchasing a candle and a blanket for someone. I just think that they are way more thoughtful and there's more time and energy that goes into them. If you're in a situation where advertisements are really making you feel like you need to be spending more and more money, you need to go into debt, you need to pull into your savings account in order to afford gifts for people in my family, don't do it. Do not fall into that trap. I have fallen into that trap where I set that expectation for myself and then I look back at it and I regretted it. I pulled like $2,000 out of my savings account one year just because I felt like I needed to impress the people around me. And at the end of the day, it wasn't worth it. I don't think it was worth it. And I'm a gift giver. I love buying people gifts, but it was not worth it for me. Instead, there are a couple different ideas that I have for some homemade holiday gifts. If you're on the lookout, I can do like a whole video on them if you want. If that, just let me know in the comments if that's something you guys want. A few of my ideas here. So the first one is homemade vanilla extract. That's super easy to make. You just need a liquor of choice. I prefer vodka, but you could use anything like bourbon or whatever else you have on hand. Maybe you were gifted at one point and just haven't had, or maybe it's left over from another event that you hosted. You just do vodka in a container. It could be any kind of glass container. I would recommend glass. Vanilla beans, cut them down the middle. You put that into the vodka and then you need to close it and then let it sit in a dark closet, probably for 3 months before you use it. Right now, if you're watching this, it's not quite long enough to have like true, like ready to use vanilla extract by Christmas time at this point. However, what you can do is you can create like a sticker for it and say like ready to be used on X date, depending on whenever you make it. And I think that that's totally fine. The other thing too is that you have to be 21. If you're not 21, you can't buy the liquor to be able to do that, which is totally fine. Then just avoid this gift idea. For example, one thing that I'm doing, and if you're my friends or family, stop watching, because I am working on some homemade apple jam, which is basically, it tastes like apple pie filling, but it's so perfect. I ordered like 6 different mason jars from Amazon, but you could probably thrift them. I just don't have time to thrift right now. But I ordered some and then I'm just going to make a huge batch of apple pie jam. Tastes so good. I'm so excited for this. And then I'm going to like whip it up and then put it in there, put a label on it, say like from the kitchen of Crystalline or like future Mrs. Ulrich, since I'm engaged now, then I'm just gonna gift it to all my friends and family. And that sort of effort that goes into a gift like that, first of all, it gets used because there are some gifts that people give that just never get used. And second of all, so thoughtful, a homemade item. You can do the same thing with cookies, bread. You could do like simmer pots. If you know what a simmer pot is, it's typically just a bunch of ingredients that you boil in water that makes your whole house like smell super fragranty and delicious. It's like a candle. Yeah, you could put together like a little simmer pot jar without the water. So you just put the instructions on the jar that says simmer on stove for 45 minutes with 3 cups of water. Whatever it is. There are a lot of options when it comes to homemade gift items that aren't like the cheesy, like picture frame, writing a long note or anything like that. Those do go a long way too, but that's not my style. And I don't blame you if it's not yours either. I have 2 more items for creating like a recipe. I'm like on this recipe kick now. 2 more ingredients for this recipe of an intentional holiday. And they kind of go hand in hand. So the first one is give people grace. I know we're setting our boundaries, and I know not everyone's going to love that, depending on what yours are this year. If that is the case, give people grace. Don't get too angry or upset with people whenever they get really upset with you. If somebody kind of comes at you during the holidays and you're like, oh wow, you don't know what that person's really going through, no matter how close they are to you. Some people keep things to themselves before you even realize it. And because you never know what someone is going through, this time of year can be super stressful. I encourage you to reach out to some of those people, which leads me into my final ingredient for a intentional holiday recipe is reaching out to your friends and family, especially if you know someone, even if they're distant, if you know someone who has lost someone this year. This is sometimes the hardest time to go through when you're in the grieving process. So if you know someone, just reach out. Doesn't have to be anything too intense, but just a simple, hey, I'm thinking of you can go a long way for those people. And as far as your other friends and family, reach out to them too. This time of year, a lot of people deal with the holiday blues. And sometimes lighting a candle is not going to fix that. I love candles. I do. But lighting a candle for that cozy ambiance does not always fix my frame of mind. But what does is whenever I call and reach out to my friends and family. So sometimes I just text them and we go back and forth and say like, hey, what are you up to? What's new in your life? Sometimes it's as simple as sending a funny video to someone saying, hey, like this made me think of you. And sometimes really just picking up the phone and calling someone can go a long way. And surprisingly enough, when I feel like this little bout of the holiday blues, a lot of times when I reach out to people, they may be feeling the same way. So it's nice to kind of talk to someone who gets it. And even if they don't really understand, or maybe they're not in that same holiday blue like kind of blimp that you may be in, you would be really surprised how many people love to support you, that just love to support you. They want to be there for you no matter what, even if you may feel like they don't. These people probably do want to be there for you. Like I said, those last two kind of go hand in hand, but those are all things that I love to do to create a more intentional holiday. And it's just, this time of year can be so magical and so special. But as you get older, I think the reality of life and the reality of relationships and just like the state of the world can make things feel really scary and make you feel really down and make you feel like you can't have that same kind of like childlike wonder that we usually have when we're kids going through this holiday season. So these are ways that I'm able to kind of bring those back into my life. Is everything foolproof? No. I wish I could tell you and sit here and be like, yeah, these will 100% work guaranteed, but it's kind of up to you to make it what you want it to be. Truly, an intentional holiday means you are intentional with your time. You are only doing the things that make you happy, bring you joy, and make the season magical. So whether that's going to a Christmas market, whether it's putting your Christmas tree up now in November, or if it's putting it up after Thanksgiving, it's really such an individual journey that you have to go on to figure out how can you make these holidays the most magical for you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you're planning on doing to have your intentional holiday season. And if there was anything I missed, let me know. Put it in the comments. You can like this video. Feel free to just subscribe. I post videos weekly, pretty much every single Friday. And then I also have a podcast that I post on here every Monday. And there's always such fun, interesting topics going on. I talk all things mind, body, planet. So everything under the sun of those categories, we'll probably cover it at some point. But if there's one that you want to know more than the others, also let me know in the comments. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a truly happy, wonderful, merry holiday season. Bye!